Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first ever GroupUp Podcast. My name is Ozdragon, and on today's episode, we have Darksider and Damoski. Listen to these two content creators talk about the balance between being a father and streaming, their thoughts on the future of gaming after the COVID outbreak, and we get Damoski to admit to us if he would rather stream on Mixer or Twitch. We're weighing up both Twitch and Mixer. What one would you personally prefer, streaming or not? Listen to all this plus more coming up right now on the GroupUp Podcast. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first podcast of the GroupUp community. I am joined by Darksider and Damoski TV. How you guys doing today?
Doing super, fam. How art thou, lads? Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, man. Good. Doing good. Hope you guys are doing well.
After, those technical difficulties.
They were minor, mate. It's fine. We didn't spend 30 minutes fixing stuff. It's fine. It's fine.
And,
in relation to me personally or the stream or...
just anything, really. If you want to go stream-wise, if you want to go personal-wise.
This I consider as one word, man-child. Easygoing. I'm hyphenating these words, so it makes them as one word. And a perfectionist.
Okay.
I think the best three to describe me. Good question, though.
No, yeah, it's a pretty interesting question. Hey, look, I think 3 words describe myself: meme on legs, fun-loving, and rage machine.
Rage machine, interesting.
Yeah,
rage machine. That sounds dangerous.
It is dangerous.
So that's a bit about you guys, I suppose. So I don't know. Me personally, I didn't want to get into you guys specifically about your personal lives and all that kind of stuff. So just wanted to get that out of the way, and the audience that are listening and watching, just to give them a little bit about you guys, I suppose. So I was gonna do the questions at the end, but we got one from Soviet Bobo that you guys probably saw in the Discord channel, that he asked, how did you both come across GroupUp? Were you there from the start? I don't even remember you guys joining, to be honest. It's a one giant blur, so if you guys remember, then yeah, go right on ahead.
Yeah, that's actually a good question. I've been there so long, I consider myself part of the furniture now. I think it was through Phoenix Predator, back in the originating days of GroupUp, I think, was from memory. So I met Phoenix through another Discord, and then eventuated to, hey, come check out GroupUp from what I can remember. And that just, I guess, where it sort of set down. I think initially when I first joined, I was nowhere near as active as I am now. Didn't understand, I guess, the benefit, not the benefit, but I didn't understand the concept of what a Discord community was originally. So it took time to sort of understand what this place was all about, and I think over time, it developed to what it is now, which is one of 3 Discords I think I sit in most days. So
awesome. What about you, Damo?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I feel like I'm part of the furniture now as well. But I remember it was you, Oz, that invited me. I think you popped into my stream just randomly. Found me playing some sort of game. I can't remember what it was, but you were chatting to me and that sort of thing, and you were like, hey, look, if you ever want to join a Discord, and you sort of described GroupUp to me. I was like, yeah, cool, I could get behind that. So like Dark, in the initial days, I didn't understand community, so it's kind of just trying to do this thing on my own, but then settled into GroupUp and then started being more active, being a part of other Discord communities as well. sort of helped me understand. So through GroupUp and other communities, it's helped me understand how to be a bit more community focused. And yeah, look, now same as Dark, I sit more in GroupUp and probably another one, mostly. Yeah, that's where my time's divided now.
No, it's awesome. No, to be honest, like I don't know, I just totally forgot that I used to do that. I used to go into people's streams and for you don't want to go in there and be like, hey, join my Discord. I just go in, have a bit of a chat to them, and after a while, once you get comfortable with them, it's like, well, hey, like if you want to join a community and help your channel grow, that's pretty much what we're all about. So yeah,
you could also just gift them a sub or give them a donor and be like, "Oh, join my Discord." I feel like you get a lot of traction that way. You definitely get their attention.
This is what I did to most of the people in there. But...
Join my Discord, bro. I got 5 gifted subs ready to go.
Oh, dude.
Okay. So moving away from that, because we won't get into that business.
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I'm so glad you asked that. And that sounds really cliche and shitty, so I'm just going to go with it anyway. But it's challenging, and I think when I started streaming initially, we had our oldest was, or we only had the one at the time, and she was 5. So it wasn't too much of a routine change. She was in bed rather early, so I found that I had a bit of free time most nights anyway, so I was able to grind it out, so it's no big deal. But definitely when the second one came along and we had a newborn, that really flipped everything on its head. Trying to find time to just even game full stop, to sit on a PC for more than 40 minutes without having to go deal with a child was definitely a challenge. And when we were lucky enough to have our second one, I took probably a month and a half, almost 2 months away from it, just because it was too much. Quite simply, I didn't have the time, I didn't have the energy. I couldn't commit to something to me that was, and it still is, it's a hobby. I'm super passionate about it, but it's a hobby. Family for us has always been number one, so they will always take priority. And it wasn't until our youngest sort of got into a bit of a routine a couple months later that I was able to slowly work into some form of schedule. And it's had many different evolutions over the last probably 6 to 12 months. It was back to, 1 day, and then it was 2, and now we're even, I've got the opportunity to take it up to 3 days a week from 8 o'clock at night. So it's been challenging. It's been tiring, but when you're so passionate about something, I personally don't care. To be honest, I'm happy to commit whatever energy I've got left to it because I enjoy it. The people I've met through it are lifelong friends. So yeah, that's I think where I stand on it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, look, along the same lines really as Dark, except he's 2 kids in. I'm only on the first one. And yeah, with her, I spoke to the wife and was kind of like, I'm probably going to suss it out for the first 6 months. I actually took 6 months off streaming. And then once she hit the 6-month mark, and she was, like Doug said, they get into a routine, and you sort of see the routine, and you try it out for a couple of weeks, and then it's like, okay, cool, they're in a routine now. And then I spoke to the missus. I'm like, can I go back to streaming? She's like, yeah, you can. And then, yeah, initially it was kind of like 2 days a week. So I joined the 2-day club. And then, just recently it was kind of like, you can have 3 days now. And so I do the whole, like, Sunday to Tuesday. So get it out in the week. Yeah. And then the rest of the week is devoted to family. So same as Dark, it's like family's important to myself as well as my wife. So like, trying to make time for the little one, because obviously working full time, it's really hard. You come home and it's only this little amount of time that you get with them, before she goes off to bed and that sort of thing. So you try to make the most of it and that sort of thing. So yeah, trying to squeeze all that in, but yeah, like Dark said, this is a hobby, and whatever's left at the end of the day, I put wholeheartedly into streaming, and give whatever I can to meme with whoever I'm I'm playing games with, or if it's just myself, like, on stream.
Yeah.
That's what we do it. So yeah.
And I think the other point to that is yes, there's a schedule, but it's being flexible, and I can't count the amount of times I've either pulled a stream or changed the schedule week on week, last minute because something has happened, kids need something, wife needs handle, whatever it is, there's something family orientated going on. So, even though there is time for it now, that literally changes on a day-to-day basis. So, it's having the ability to be flexible and having someone that like my wife that supports the stream and supports that flexibility as well, to even give me the opportunity to sit down for 4 to 5 hours to play video games uninterrupted with kids around. So
so for pretty much like people that are starting out being parents that are streaming and all that kind of stuff, you pretty much want that partner that is there, that supports you and the child, and understands that after a while there can be some flexibility there, I suppose you guys were kind of saying.
Yeah, there definitely is, and I think it's also knowing that family is priority. Twitch streaming is not going anywhere. Ultimately, streaming is not going anywhere. It's only growing. So even if that means you take 4, 5, 6 months off, and you see it on Twitter, you see it on Reddit, it's like, family's here forever. Your kids are only kids for so long. So, prioritize them first and foremostly. And if you've got time on a weeknight to stream, then great. That's awesome, and take full advantage of it. But don't prioritize your stream over family, because you will regret it. You will regret it.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
What about I don't know if you guys have really thought much into it, but what about when the kids are a little bit older and starting to play games and stuff, where you bring them into streams and have their own little stream channels, or just that's not really a thing that you guys want to put onto your kids or anything like that, because some I don't, some people might have hobbies and things, say a parent that does goes to the gym or whatever, and then forces their kids to be physically fit and all this kind of stuff, and it's you have to go to the gym with me and all this kind of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, look, it's not something that I don't push my kids to do anything. They definitely take an interest in it because they've seen the setup. They know that Dad streams a couple nights a week, and my oldest does play video games, but she'll play it for once every blue moon. So definitely the thoughts cross my mind as they get older, particularly with schooling and stuff like that. How I'm going to manage the nighttime. We're still in a position where they're going to bed sort of between that 6:30, 7 o'clock. So I'm not up until all God hours, just trying to, have some fun with mates. So the thoughts definitely cross my mind as she gets older, how we're going to manage that. But I think once we come to that bridge, I'll cross it. And to your point about, will you let them stream? I mean, if she eventuates into an interest and she wants to do it, I don't have an issue with it. I'm happy to set her up and do it in a way that is not controlled, but it is monitored. Rather than letting them go ham on a YouTube or a Twitch. So it would be a monitored type thing. So
I've seen
but look,
so many clips of just young teenage kids that are probably between 10 and 15 that are oh, I want to be a Twitch streamer, jump on a Twitch, and then all of a sudden all these trolls come in with these stupid names, saying all these stupid things in chat, and there's no moderation there. The parents don't care. They're not looking after the kids while they're streaming, and all this time there's people harassing them online, and I feel like that's where parents need to take a bit more responsibility and look out, be interested in what the kid is actually doing, I suppose.
I think it also comes down to, it's two things. Firstly, I mean, Twitch has a 13-year-old minimum in terms of Twitch user. Now, whether that's enforced or not, again, that's entirely up to that company. But as far as I'm concerned, she's 13 before she has a Twitch account.
Yeah.
And it'll also be potentially parents just not understanding. I don't think the blanket statement of them not having an interest is probably accurate. I think it's just they don't know what it is. Obviously me and Damo do because we're into it, but my wife and family friends of ours that have children, they have quite literally no idea what Twitch even is. So I think it's just a bit of that. It's my child just plays games on the internet. That's cool. They may not be aware that it's being live streamed to everywhere on the world. I don't know, but I think the best way is to have it monitored as best you can, and at the same time also showing them and taking them through the process, showing them, I guess, what potentially can happen. And I'm not saying show them videos, but I'm saying to walk them through that and not cover stuff up. I think that's the best thing that we've done with our oldest is we've exposed her again in a controlled way to certain situations so that she is aware of how to manage herself when those things come around. So again, long way to answer it, but I guess it's just making sure that it's monitored content.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, look, mine is 15 months old, so it's still a long way off having some sort of interest in video games and that sort of thing. But hey, we've discussed it.
Toys channel on YouTube.
Oh mate,
exactly.
I've heard Wiggles live streams are taking off. The next YouTube superstar.
That's right. You just see her taking off. Her channel takes off, and I'm like struggling on mine. But anyway, I digress. Look, we same as Dark. We're not going to force anything on her. If she wants to, then again, we'll do it in a monitored and controlled fashion. But like, I don't know. It's more just knowing about, what goes on these platforms. And that's why, like, with other parents, when I tell them I stream and stuff like that, and I sort of tell them what happens sometimes, like you get the trolls, you get the this and that, and then they get an idea of how it is. That way they've got the information there. So if I can do that and show my friends that, then it's word of mouth, and they can sort of like, oh, hey, by the way, like, that sort of thing. Let their friends know, and so on and so on. Because you need to let them know what's going on in this live stream world, because everything now is becoming live streamed, and you're right. There's kids younger than 13 hopping on streaming platforms and not knowing the risks. So it's good as parents to actually know what's going on. But for us, we're kind of like, if she goes down that path and wants to stream, then cool, help her out, set it up, that sort of thing. But other than that, it's like, if she wants to go play football, or she wants to, like, whatever her goals are in life, it's kind of like, we'll support that.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Good responses. Yeah. Responsible parents.
It's well-rehearsed response, mate.
Exactly. I've just got my wife over here just like hanging me, say the right answer. Otherwise you sleep in the car tonight. It's like, oh no.
Not again. Look, I have signed an NDA as an employer of HP, so I can not comment on. Just a serious face, like, you said NDA? Oh my god! Look, I think the future of gaming has been altered dramatically because of the COVID situation. And I think the trajectory that, particularly esports and a lot of the large scale events, and the way that the designers of content now are having to work from home and working remotely and all this sort of stuff. So I think the shape of gaming and where it's headed has definitely changed. We see nothing but significant growth consistently, whether that's across software or hardware. More so console's definitely growing a lot faster than PC is, funnily enough, but I think that comes down to cost and ease of access. It's more plug and play as opposed to what a PC can offer. So in terms of the way gaming is going, I don't know if VR is going to be the bubble that everyone wants it to be. I think there's a lot of talk of around, why don't we have the Minority Report style of stuff that's on screens that I can touch and grab and move? I want to put on a VR suit and jump straight into Sword Art Online and throw daggers and stuff. And I just don't see VR doing that. I personally see VR at the moment as a bit of a gimmick. I think it's a novelty, and until the corporate space or the commercial space really picks it up for whether it's military training or whether it's for sports training or education. And a great example, we were talking about this the other week at work, but somewhere like a fireman training, they want to train for a house that's burning down, train them to get them in and get them out, save family, etc. So how do they do that safely? They obviously can't start a fire and burn a house down. So why not put them into a virtual reality environment where they can practice that and not cause any harm? So once you start to go down that commercial path and explore what the potentials of it could be, I think that's an opportunity. It'll also come down to the software development. We're seeing now with what I guess the titles of like PUBG and Apex, those BR titles, what they brought 12, 24 months ago, the culture shifted again. The landscape was just whitewashed with everyone doing a version of their own BR. I'm not saying it's dead in the water because there's still a big chunk of the market that's invested in it, but you're seeing also that other larger chunk pushing away to that more, faster paced type of gameplay that's not requiring a lot of looting or any of those sorts of aspects. So it's hard to predict where it's going. There's a lot of factors to bring in board or to take in. So what does it look like in the next 12 months? I honestly don't have much of an idea. I really don't. I think factoring all of what I've just said into it, I think that's sort of brought up a clean slate of, if you knew what this is going to look like in 12 months, then you should be a betting man because you should be putting millions of dollars down on Tats Lotto. So it'll be interesting to see how the gaming community as a whole reacts post-COVID. And when I say how they react, I mean from an events perspective, from a content creation, people back in the workforce, people out there being active, like how do they then re-engage with that content as opposed to sitting at home playing video games because they're in lockdown and can't go anywhere?
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Damo?
Look, yeah, same thing as Dark, really. Like, yeah, the whole VR thing, I was thinking about that just while he was mentioning it. Yeah, like, even I look at it as a gimmick. Like, I never sit there and go, "Ooh, I'd like to play VR." You know what I mean? Like, it's not something I sort of, that intrigues me, because it does feel like a bit of a gimmick at the moment. Like, yeah, if it doesn't take off in the commercial sector, it's not really going to go anywhere. But yeah, at this point in time, yeah, I don't know. It depends how, like, they come out of the COVID situation and how development progresses from there, like what they're going to bring out, what they're going to develop, what ideas they've got while they've been on lockdown. So yeah, I don't know what the landscape looks like at the moment. Like, at the moment, it still feels like it's a lot of based around esports and like your your shooters, I guess all those tournaments. That's going to still be a big thing for a while to come. Your current shooters like R6 Siege and like Counter-Strike and stuff will still hold the market, and like all your BRs and stuff like that will still be there. But yeah, development after COVID is what I want to see, and how it'll all pan out after this, like all the new ideas coming out.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to go back to when Darksider was saying that about firefighters using like VR sets and all that kind of stuff for like training. It's actually like a really good point that it's pretty much like everyone sees it as a like a video game kind of thing. I personally have never thought of it as something that could actually educate people in all sorts of different things. Like, you could even, I don't know, have like virtual worlds where you're looking after, I don't know, plants or something like that, and learning about.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I was having a conversation, and this was at a previous conference quite a while ago around VR, and he works for the Postal Service of all places, so a really fun topic. And he was talking to me about VR, and he goes, well, when we train someone to sort mail, we train them in a warehouse live. They sit on the line, and we have to train them on sorting mail. Firstly, I was surprised that people still sort mail. Secondly, he said, well, we could do this in a virtual reality space. So we could sit them in an office, we could give them a headset and go, all right, you need to do this for the next 2 hours. And when you've passed XYZ score, you can be put onto the line so you're not completely breaking everything. This can be taken to, with the current COVID situation and the V8 supercar drivers in Australia that are now having to do e-racing. Why they're sitting in front of triple screen setups in basic racing rigs. So why are we not bringing in a VR setup for them specifically? So I guess a lot of it is that the technology is there. It's the software developers that need to develop the software, and there needs to be a market for it. So I think that there is a potential demand there. It's just having the software readily available in a working format, and again continuing down this VR trail. But I think that's what stunted a lot of the VR growth, especially initially, is the available content was minimal. And it wasn't really until Steam sort of took it upon themselves to bring in a plethora of content that it actually became something, I guess. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I see growth in commercial. Commercial is worth a significant more amount of money than the retail environment. So it'll be interesting to see, particularly again with VR. It'll be interesting to see how that develops over the next sort of 5 or 10 years. Yeah,
no, it's good. All right, look, we probably don't have much time left, so we'll bring up what I want to bring up at the end of pretty much every episode on the GroupUp podcast. Do you guys have any ghost encounters or anything like that you've had in the past that you want to talk about?
I hate you for this question, honest to God. Just want to make it clear.
I don't know. I like listening to ghost stories and all this kind of stuff, like people's personal experience.
Damo, you go first, man. I've answered every question. I've answered every question first.
Believe in ghosts to start off with, and then have you had any encounters if you do?
So me personally, I don't believe in ghosts. So my answer's going to be really short. I've never had an encounter with a ghost or anything like that, other than from what I've seen, I guess Blair Witch Project and all that sort of, stuff and whatever I've watched on YouTube. But yeah, that's as much encounter as I've had with ghosts. So,
Fair enough.
I can firmly say I don't. I will add to this though, is that I like horror movies, but at the same time, I don't like horror movies. And the same with video games. I don't like horror video games. When the what was that Handycam video movie that they made? Not Supernatural. Was it Supernatural? Where they've got the cam and the chick gets possessed by the demon. Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Is this a movie or a game?
It's a movie. Yeah. No, the movie.
Not sure. Like old or recent? He's gonna Google.
I'm literally Googling it because it's gonna do it's absolutely
paranormal
activity. Paranormal activity. I had to find it. Okay. So when Paranormal Activity came out, I didn't sleep for 2 days after watching it. So I don't believe in them. I hands down do not. Yet when I watched that, I didn't sleep for 2 days. So take what you want from that.
Look, I'm a bit the same as well. Like, don't believe in all the ghosts and stuff like that. But if I watch a scary movie like that, I'm the same. I don't sleep for like 2 days to a week or something like that. Cause it's just like, how does it freak me out if I don't? I don't know. This year just. Won't understand
it. Messes with you. Just messes with you.
100%.
I don't know. It's just like, personally, like I'm not 100% on like ghosts being real or anything. It's just an interesting topic to bring up, and for people that do have like experiences or believe that they have experiences and all that kind of stuff, it's interesting to hear, like, and then get like the spooky side and all this kind of stuff about it, which is on the topic of spooky stories, I did meet someone that told me about their
their story, which I think is interesting to share. So, this lady was a lady, and she was a lovely lady, I'm sure. And she approached me as I was standing in a retail outlet. She was printing her photos. She took upon herself to come over and said, "I'm here printing photos. That's great. I don't care." And she said, "Well, I've captured some paranormal activity on these photos." I'm like, "Oh, great. Still don't care." And she's like, "I took photos of the ghosts that possess my house." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, that's cool." So she proceeded to show me photos of what she said were ghosts. So the orbs that everyone says, little white dots that is just dust on a lens. And then she said, "And here's a photo of the possum spirit that lives in my curtains." And then she proceeded to show me a photo of it. This is possum spirit that lives in her curtains. She then...
So what was on the photo then?
So the photo was of her curtains, and she attempted to try and show me an outline of the possum spirit, which I obviously didn't see because I don't do drugs. And I just said, "That's really lovely. Thank you so much for sharing it," and backed away slowly and left the store, making sure that I faced her as I walked away, just in case she had a weapon or something on her persons at the time. So, wow. I'm not saying they're all like that. It's just this particular individual was very special.
Yeah,
very special.
And I mean,
possum spirits.
At the end of the day, like you didn't agree with that person, but you were still kind enough to hear about it, I suppose. Like, you were probably forced to hear about it because you were probably doing something.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I didn't know she was going to stab me or not, so I entertained the hell out of that.
You just entertained the idea.
But I mean,
you want to tell me?
You didn't say, like, I don't know, like if somebody did it on the internet or something, and then someone's just like, "Oh, I don't give a shit, like, go away," and all this kind of stuff.
No.
But you weren't nasty about it or anything. Like, you still listened and like heard what she had to say, and then it was like a mutual. Well, I suppose you were like more terrified for your life, but like still kind of mutually like left it there.
Yeah, this is like, that's great. Have a lovely day. Have a lovely day. Say hi to the possum for me.
Alright, we should probably start wrapping this up. So, questions that we got from the GroupUp community. We have only one because we answered Bobo's at the start. We have one from Albatross 25 that left one on the Instagram. He said, he asks, the first game that you guys played, and how do you think it shaped your journey into gaming, I suppose?
What a good question. So first game I ever played was Alex the Kid on Sega. Yeah, I'm old. Shut up. That was the first game I ever played, and that spiraled into every console: Sonic, Power Rangers, Crash Bandicoot, etc. And then it went on hiatus for a while, and then came back to PC because of the role I had at the time. And the first PC game for me, when I came back to it, was Battlefield 3. And that spiraled a series of addiction that led to thousands of hours invested in PC gaming. So it was literally, once I took a bite, I was hooked, dude. I had way too much fun. So yeah, best of both worlds.
Yeah, wicked. I'm the same as Dark. I started out playing on the NES, so I played Super Mario. That's what parents got me, a NES, got me Super Mario. It was just hooked instantly, console after console kind of thing. And then once I hit high school, it's when I got introduced to PC gaming. So I got introduced to, I don't know if you guys remember a game called Soldier of Fortune 2. It's an old like shooter game kind of thing, but we used to have it on USB drives. And once the guy he chucked them in the computers at uni or whatever, and he's just like, "Hey," well, like, sorry, at uni, and like that's when I got hooked into like PC gaming. It was just like one of those portable games. But yeah, even in high school, it was just like playing all these like silly games on the PC and stuff. So that's when I was like to my parents, I want to get a PC so bad. And so, from there, just PC gaming. So it was like, I guess, a bit of PC, bit of console. And then I think it was only after I sort of moved out of home, that sort of thing, fully devoted to PC. And the only console I own now is just a Switch. Yeah. And like I barely touch that now. It's just sinking hours into GTA and COD at the moment.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose I should probably answer this one as well. Is that my first gaming experience was PlayStation 1. We had a bunch of different games on there, like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, all that kind of stuff. I wasn't allowed to play Tomb Raider because, it had guns and shooting and all that kind of stuff. Wasn't allowed any of that.
Damn, you missed out, fam. That was a great game.
And then we got the PS2. My grandparents bought me that, and we still have both the original PS1 and PS2.
Hog.
And we played like games like Ratchet and Clank.
Nice.
Star Wars Battlefront. All those good games. And then around the same time as the PS2, we also got a computer that was a family computer. So we were only allowed like an hour or 2 hours on there at a time. And there was games like the old Age of Empires you got out of the Kellogg's, cereal. The Sims.
The feels, man. Been there.
It was The Sims, and there was a game, because I was only young at the time, I was in, what's it called? Ozkick, I think it was called, or something.
Yeah.
So there was a game,
Ozkick.
there was a game about Ozkick that I used to play like all the time, and it was probably really stupid. I can only remember like little bits and pieces, but yeah, that was like a thing that got me hooked. And after a while, once I was allowed like on the internet, it was like RuneScape. That was my first online game, and then Age of Empires 3. And it wasn't until 10 years later that I was actually able to upgrade my PC. So we still had the same family PC for 10 years, and it was like 30 minutes just to load up onto the Windows screen. Like it took so long. But yeah, like that's pretty much where I am at the moment. I've still got the PS1 and PS2, which we sometimes bring out if we've got like people around. And I've also got the Switch as well, which is pretty good, especially when you're traveling. So yeah. We'll finish it off by like plugging any social medias, any things that are coming up in the near future. Wink, wink, Darksider.
Classy, shameless plug.
So if you guys want to plug yourself away at the end of this podcast, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, I guess, look, everyone loves a shameless plug, but we are doing the Darksider community. Look, it's been a hell of a ride, particularly the last 2-3 months. The generosity of the community legends that we have has been second to none. So we did break 100 subs for the first time ever, and I stated and agreed, not thinking that it would happen, that we would do a 12-hour stream. So on the 30th this month, we are doing our first ever 12-hour stream. We've got over $200 worth of giveaways. We're up to 5 $20 Steam gift cards and a copy of Cyberpunk 2077 be given away throughout the 12 hours as well. They will be given away to someone in chat. So it's not, throw your hat in a ring, throw some likes down and retweet shit. Like, you just need to be there, hit the command when it pops up, and it's as easy that the code will be delivered straight to your inbox. So it's something I've been wanting to do for ages. So yeah, just check us out on Twitter at Darksider TV. And yeah, all the details will be on there as we get closer to the date.
Can't wait for that. a 12-hour stream.
I can't wait for it either, fam. I'm already hurting. I can just see it. Dude, I'm literally going to sleep Sunday. It's going to be all of Sunday gone to sleep.
All of Sunday just sleeping away.
Sleep. It's going to be so much fun. I am looking forward to playing 12 hours of video games. It'll bring back the old school LAN days of staying awake for like 19 hours and just playing Battlefield until the next morning. So
your eyes are hanging out of your head.
Dude, it's going to be a mess. Mix in 2 kids and a wife. I don't even know how it's going to happen, but hey, we're here now, so let's just do it.
That's it. Let's go for it. Cool. Yeah, well, I don't have anything spectacular like Darksider planned, but you can catch me on the on Mixer, Damoski TV, and on Instagram and Twitter as well. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. Darksider usually gives me a bit of a stir for being on Mixer, but hey.
Yeah, I actually,
come enjoy the Blue Army peeps.
Yeah, that was like something that I writ down, but skipped over because we didn't have like much time. The reason like why you moved to Mixer? Like I think you kind of like told me a little bit about it before, how you know it was just like something a little bit different that you wanted to try, but then
it was pretty much like I wanted to do something different with my channel, and I felt like, you know, being like a meme streamer or whatever on Twitch, there was a lot of that. And because Twitch is a lot of entertainment, so, you know, you've got to kind of be different. You got to kind of do a lot of different things. And I thought, why not take that to Mixer and see how those guys react? So I think weighing that up, I was like, oh, starting again kind of thing, but I'm like, let's try it out, you know, and it's taken off. It's actually like they do enjoy the gameplay, but they're taken back by this dude just being dumb on stream. You know what I mean? Like half the time that's my content. It's just being dumb. Like I'll walk away, come back and start dancing in front of the camera, and they're just like, what the heck? Like, where is that? So yeah, like it's different content for them, and it's been really cool. Like making that jump, like it was very nerve-wracking to try and make that jump, because you know you've got like X amount of followers on Twitch, and you're like, I'm leaving all that behind to start somewhere new. And it's been great. It's been working out, and yeah, I'm just plugging away there.
That's awesome. So weighing up both Twitch and Mixer, what one would you personally prefer streaming on? I know that you stream on both at the moment, but which one, if you had to choose one, would you prefer?
At this point in time, probably Mixer, just because the growth there I've seen, it's been exponential compared to when I was on Twitch. Like it took a lot of time, and again, that was a different season as well. I like we said before, didn't know things about community, whereas I've learned that now. So I go to Mixer and I'm trying to make connections there, and I've you know, I'm now part of some communities there, and that's helped my growth there as well. So but yeah, Mixer is definitely where I would prefer streaming.
Okay. It's awesome. Well, thank you very much, Darksider and Damoski, for joining the first episode of the GroupUp Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, all the information will be below on the YouTube. And thank you guys once again for joining. And finally, we got there after all those technical difficulties at the
technical
start.
hiccups.
Minor technical difficulties, and not because of me at all. Not because of me.
No, but it's been interesting, and it's you know, a good start to the podcast, and can't wait to see what comes from here. And hopefully you guys decide that you want to join in future ones. You're more than welcome to, because you are the moderators of GroupUp Community. So I will obviously be giving you details on who's going to be on in which episode, and if you guys decide you want to join in on one, you're more than welcome to, and have a bit more banter. That's perfectly fine.
100%.
Yeah, awesome, man. Thank you for the opportunity. It's been fun.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do a podcast, so here we are. I'm excited to see what happens with this and where it goes, and if anything else, it just gives the community members of GroupUp a chance to really sort of air out where they're at, and that's what I'm looking forward to hearing from the rest of the members in GroupUp, and hearing about their stories. I think is what I'm looking forward to. So see how we go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Cheers. Done.